All right, here's a really super scuffed, rushed together, hardly functional part two of the farming game. When the game comes out, I'll actually write this up really, really nice and clean, but right now it is a big spaghetti mess. So, you walk up to the tree with a sword. In your inventory, it just has to be in your inventory. It doesn't have to be equipped. It sucks. But, you activate and the tree falls. And then you can activate it again, even though the timer on the left's ticking down. You can still activate it again to get a little to plant the sapling or to chop it is what I'm gonna use that for. So when when the tree falls and you gather, you increment wood up somewhere, and then after the grow time, it spawns back. But right now, sword equipped, activate it, it falls over, and then you can activate it again to chop it. The timer starts ticking down before you actually chop it. Again, I need to fix that, but I need to rewrite the whole thing. Then this is like the sapling. You could have stages to this, and you could like change out different trees, or you could have this tree slowly rise up. There's a few different ways you can handle that, but instead I just have a timer, and then over a certain amount of time, it just resets. Right now, it doesn't do a particularly amazing job. It falls over that way, so you can replant it and the cycle continues. It's a little buggy. It kind of works. I guess I'll break down the absolute spaghetti code that this is. Yeah. I don't even know where to begin. I guess on the object interact. So how this is set up, we have a couple of pointers to store positions. I don't even think the audio is working. Is there audio? I think it's there's supposed to be like a tree falling sound kind of happening here. But it's not working. See, there's supposed to be a tree falling sound. We're working out the kinks. So, we're referencing the switch, which is inside the tree right here. This white. There's the switch. It's inside the tree. We're referencing that, and when we interact with that, we're checking if the player that is interacting is holding a weapon of type energy sword. Pretty simple. And then we have a branch to say that when that's true, we don't want to do anything when that's false. We're going to come up here and we're going to check. We're getting this Boolean variable. So this Boolean variable is, it's not, you can't read the name because the identifiers are messed up, but it would be something like is chopped is kind of how I'm using it. Like if basically is the tree fell over, is it on the ground? Is the tree chopped down? And if it's false, which it starts out to, we're gonna come out and we're gonna play. See, this broke again because the game crashed a few times. We're gonna play audio, which is I need to fix. It's broken, but just imagine there was audio playing. And then we're gonna rotate the object to a point, and that point is the same rotation that it has, except in the X to 90. So basically, what we're doing is we're taking this and we're just rotating it 90 flat on the ground like this. And then after that, we have a duration in seconds and we're easing, 3 seconds here and we're easing out. I should probably be ease in and out, but whatever. And then we're setting the Boolean that we checked up over here. So this Boolean variable for this branch. The reason we went down is because this Boolean that we're setting here was false before. Now we're setting it to true. And then we're setting the audio loop to stop. And then we're setting a number variable to 15. And this number variable we'll get to in a moment. It's referenced by this monstrosity up here. I could have probably duplicated this identifier. I'm gonna wait till the actual official launch to deal with this bullshit identifier stuff. I haven't tested it super thoroughly, but I've heard they work. I've had mixed results with them. Like it works here. It's just it's weird. So that's the tree chopping part. Now, how we actually have the tree disappear. So if we come back to this branch, and we go, instead of going down and setting this rotation and going up, we're setting the position of the. This is the small tree. This is the tree that pops up after it's grown, which is right here. It's just hidden under the world. You might be able to do some stuff in the spawning, like despawn and respawn. I've heard of a few people say that you can get it to work. I, for the life of me, can't. It seems like it wants to work, but then it just instantly respawns when the game starts anyway. I don't know. But this tree is going to get teleported to the pointer. I think we're teleporting it to this pointer. One of these pointers we're teleporting it to, which is what this is. So we're setting the position of the small tree to the pointer position. And then we're setting the position. So if we're following this one now, because this one was the small tree and this is moving the big tree. If we follow this, we're grabbing the big tree. As you can see, this is the one that we rotated downwards. And we're gonna move it down 50 units on the z-axis. So basically, we're gonna cause it to, when it's rotated over like this, the z-axis is the blue axis, and we're just gonna cause it to move down, 50. So it's well underneath the floor. Now we have the growing. Now, everything else over here, it kind of works all right. It needs to be cleaner, and I might break a few of these up into separate script brains just because it's a mess and it's kind of rushed. Over here is this side doesn't work, so it works. It's just not super great. So, I guess we'll start with the every n seconds point here. So the Boolean variable is the same Boolean variable that we're using over here in this branch with this get here. It's the same Boolean variable, and we're checking if this variable is true. Now, this is where one problem is with this script, is that when the instant we chop it down, the timer of the regrowth timer is going to start happening. Even though that we need to interact with it again to be able to spawn the sapling. Because right now we have, we're moving the sapling to the position of that pointer at the same time as this timer is ticking down, which doesn't make sense because you want it to tick down only when the sapling's there, but that's not too hard of a fix. And then we're printing out a number to kill feed just so that we can see the timer and how much time's left. Up here, we're just declaring the number, the timer. We're using this timer here as this number variable as a timer. And we're running this every 1 second. So in theory, it would take, whatever you set this number to, we're subtracting 1. So however big this number is here, this initial value, or the number that we set down here, I don't know if this is necessary. You need to reset the number somewhere. It doesn't have to be here. It can be somewhere else, as long as it happens before the timer starts. So this value here just means 15 seconds. It's kind of a mess. But when we subtract it, we check if A is less than B. So we're going to check if A is less than 0. And if it's less than 0, then we're going to come into this branch and check. And we're going to set the object position to 0, 0, 0, which we're just going to teleport it away, is what this is going to do. This is the small tree. So we're teleporting the small tree away to 0, 0, 0. And then we're doing the same thing to the big tree, and we're teleporting it back to the position of the pointer. And then we're rotating the object to 0, 0, 0, because we rotated it downwards, and we want to make sure that it's standing straight up when we teleport it back. And then we're setting the Boolean variable that we use to check down there to false so that we can repeat the cycle. So then down here, you know, after this gets set, if we were to activate the button again, we go through the same loop that we just did before. Now we're repeating. If true, you know, if it's not, if it's false, come down here and do this. If it's, you know, then if it's true, come and do all this. It's an absolute mess. It works. I wouldn't put this in an actual game mode. This needs like another hour and like a couple more passes of, you know, cleaning up and fixing before you could actually use it. But some of the like little sub like nodes here like are definitely like good enough to work. It's just the whole thing is kind of like glued together with like staples and like wood glue. Like it's not gonna hold up. All right, so here it is again. So as we said before, it only works with the sword in your hand. So if I drop the sword and try to activate, it won't. And I have to have it in my inventory. It doesn't matter if it's equipped because it's now in my inventory. If I go to the other weapon and hold activate, it will still fall. So it will fall. And then you see, as I said before, the timer's ticking down because we are activating here to spawn this, and the timer happened at the same time, which I need to start the timer once I hit the activate button again. And then you can see after this, the tree spawns, and it spawns low. I'm not exactly sure why it spawns low, but like I said, it's a very, very scuffed, like, first pass. We need to figure out a few more, I need to figure out a few more ways to make this clean, because I can't even look at this anymore. This is an absolute nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. So the takeaway, the big important things here is get his holding weapon type, which you get a weapon type from. It's inside of variables basic weapon type. You can also get if they're holding a very specific weapon, like if you have a weapon out in the world. If you go to players, it's inventory. It's inside of inventory. Get is holding specific weapon, and then you can get a reference to that specific weapon. I don't know why the sword likes to not show up, but you can actually reference this specific sword. And obviously the player here like this, and it will only work with the referenced sword. So if you wanted this sword to function like an axe, and only this sword, you can do it this way. To be fair, I haven't tested it, but I mean, I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't work exactly how it reads. The audio, I guess I'll set the audio back up real quick. It shouldn't be, if I go back to nature, this is the sound that I had before it broke. Glacier. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. See, it kind of sounds alright. And then we plant a new tree. Again, ignore the buggy timer not working. And then after the timer ticks down, the other tree comes back. And then you can do it again. It's just this tree needs to be positioned slightly better, and the sapling needs to be the timer needs to happen after the sapling. But those aren't really that hard of fixes. It's just I kind of just need to refactor the whole damn thing. But yeah, so I absolutely intend on making an actual farming game when Forge actually comes out. Something along the lines of like what we're seeing here. And if we have, if we're lucky enough to get AI, like campaign AI, like be able to like spawn grunts or other enemies, like, you know, God, maybe all of them, that would be sick. I wanted to do something kind of like, think Stardew Valley, to where they have like the mines where you go in and you can like fight things and get bonuses and just get stuff by going into the mine and getting, you know, maybe there's like really good like resources out here that you have to fight enemies to get. If they do add that, that's going to be the other layer of the game mode. But for the moment, I've just been experimenting with getting growing working and figuring out how I want to lay it out when the game is actually out. Because right now, this isn't sustainable. This is like an hour of dicking around, making it kind of work. I mean,